Today I want to talk with you once again about the history of the Korg Kronos. So we now have the Kronos 1, Kronos X, Kronos 2 from 2015, and now the Kronos 3 from 2025. And the question that already came up with the Kronos 1 and Kronos X, or rather Kronos 1X and Kronos 2, namely, can you transfer your data, is of course coming up again now with the Kronos 3. And yes, basically you can transfer your data. What can be said is that we have upward compatibility. That means the data from the Kronos 1 basically works on the Kronos 2, and the data from the Kronos 2 works on the Kronos 3. Kronos 1 and Kronos X are basically identical at their core. Essentially, the only thing that has changed each time is the piano. The engines have gotten a bit better, but mainly it's the large piano sample that has improved. That means the Berlin Grand is included on the Kronos 2 and on the Kronos 3. I'm not quite sure what's included there, but for the smaller or older Kronos models, you would have to purchase those separately. Another question that always comes up is, if I want to take my songs with me, how do I do that? I've made several videos where I showed how to do it by hand, but I also showed how to do it with the PCG tools. The problem is it's just super time consuming if you want to mix them. So I always say I did it that way with my Kronos 1 and Kronos 2 back then because I wanted to program on both. I simply backed up the entire Kronos 1 and brought that over to the Kronos 2. What did I lose in the process? First, the Berlin Grand and the new presets. People always say, yeah, but then I lose the new sounds. No, they're not new sounds, they're new presets. Yes, some people say a preset is a sound, and that's certainly not wrong either. But the new features that are available, you keep those. You only lose the presets, and theoretically you can even mix those. So basically, if you want to synchronize both directions, it's always better to take the PCG file from the older version. That will definitely work on both and continue working from there. Just make sure not to use any sounds that the new version has but the old one doesn't. But even for that, there are solutions. For example, the piano that you use as your main piano, which I, for instance, save to memory slot as 000. And if I now put the piano I use on the Kronos 2 in that spot, and on the Kronos 3 I put the piano I use there in the same spot, then the performances or combinations on the Kronos will always access this memory slot. That means it doesn't really care what kind of piano is there. It always uses the current piano sample. So theoretically, you could also work backwards. Although I'm not entirely sure whether, for example, something might have shifted in the HD1 engine, like on the Nautilus. So the safest way is always from the bottom up. That works very well, and it's also stable, and that's exactly how I did it. And you don't lose any performance. At most, you might get some new presets, but basically you can also reload those with PCG tools, as I've explained before. Compatibility from bottom to top is there. From top to bottom, it basically works too. You just have to pay attention to the new sounds and handle them accordingly. If this video has helped you even a little bit, I would really appreciate a like, and feel free to subscribe, because there are regularly new videos about being a keyboard player and of course about technical devices.